Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hey gang, it's time to cast your cares upon the Lord, and if you're not quite sure how to do that because your situation seems a little too complex, let us help you. This is New Life Live, and I'm your host, Brian Perez. We're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today, taking your calls on a variety of topics. Shame is one of them, if that's something you're struggling with right now. Maybe it's your spouse. They're shutting down, not opening up, or being completely honest about a certain situation. Let's talk about it at 1-800-229-3000. Clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard will be joining us, and Dr. Jim Burns, the founder of Homeward. They've always got great advice to dispense, and they are just a phone call away. Great to have you here, Jim. You want to start?
Good to be here, and always love having Jill.
Yes,
she's the I didn't want to say the older, but she's the person who's been here the longest. And her input is always so good. I always look forward to it. I take notes on her.
Yes.
When she's talking, so that'll be fun to have a good conversation with her. There she is. Oh, now she's looking at me because I said she's the more experienced.
Yes.
I think she thought I was saying she was old, and I'm not. Now, great. We'll have to argue at the break.
This will be a fun 2 hours.
I wanted to
I can't believe it.
She just said, I can't believe it. And I was saying nice things about her. But anyway, we have fun here in this.
We do.
I did want to talk about kids today. So I was thinking about, we've had a couple of calls when I've been here anyway, where parents or grandmas have also called with problems with their teenagers. So I wanted to give them a verse that I just love this verse. It's actually in the Message, so it's a paraphrase, but it's found in Proverbs 30:18-19, and it says, 3 things amaze me. No, 4 things I'll never understand. How an eagle flies so high in the sky, how a snake glides over a rock, how a ship navigates the ocean, and why adolescents act the way they do. And again, that's a paraphrase. It's not the exact. But I just love that because it's so true. When my kids became adolescents, I went, wait, I'm a youth pastor. They're going to think I'm cool. And they did not think I was cool, I'm sad to say. But interesting enough, in the teen world, we have to understand as parents and as grandparents that, this age shapes culture. They are shaped by technology more than any other group ever, and they're making good and bad decisions with that. They also view tolerance as a form of loving, and so they're going to have some disagreements with some of our biblical views just because they see tolerance as a form of loving. And they sometimes have an often complicated faith. I mean, Gen Z, which is the teenager world, they are kind of coming alongside in some positive things, but they also twice as many so says George Barna and his group, Gen Z, twice as many atheists as the millennials. So as parents, I want to give you some really practical advice here quickly. Read what they read, watch what they watch, and listen to what they listen to. And I know that's not easy because, again, so much of it's digital, so much of it's online. But learn the culture and become a student of the culture. And don't just comment on the culture, but learn the culture. And also, you're going to have to teach kids to learn to discern. So what we really want to do is have them become critical thinkers, and that's a very important thing. As parents, we're just trying to get through Thursday, my goodness, and yet now I'm adding, help them to become, critical thinkers. What do you think about that, experience?
Yeah, you do that by asking them questions, not telling them.
Exactly.
So you don't want to preach at them.
I love that. And then also, encourage positive influence. I have 2 scripture verses I'll leave us with. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get yourself in trouble. That's Proverbs 13:20, New Living Testament. And also, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. So instead of nagging at them, at least get to know their friends. Who's influencing them? Because that's an important thing. So that's some thoughts on our kids today as parents, if we have sometimes younger kids.
Yeah. All right. So call in if you're a parent or a grandparent or you're a kid. Whether you're a young kid or an adult child and you're trying to navigate the whole situation, we're going to be here for 2 hours today. Grab an open line right now, 1-800-229-3000.
Every marriage faces seasons of difficulty, and whether you're working through betrayal or feeling emotionally distant or simply just roommates, Know this, you're not alone and there's hope. Renewing Love is 90 minutes. I want you to invest just this 1.5 hours. We're going to talk about how to navigate seasons of distance and disconnection with grace. We're going to give you practical steps to begin rebuilding trust after betrayal or hurt. We're going to teach you how to invite God into your marriage for healing and renewal. We're going to give you simple tools to strengthen communication and emotional connection, and steps to move forward with hope, faith, and lasting love. And it's not just information, it's an invitation to heal, to reconnect, to trust again, and discover that God can make all things new, even your marriage.
The Renewing Love Marriage webinar is Tuesday evening, September 16th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
You can stay up to date on all things New Life by following us on social media. We post all sorts of informative content, fun stuff too, like the poll last week asking for your favorite season. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you have to do is follow us on social media. Go down to the footer of newlife.com to find our social media icons, and then connect with us and share too. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today here on New Life Live, and we're going to be here for 2 hours with Doctors Jim Burns and Jill Hubbard. And another way you can get your question to us is through our website. You can send us an email or leave us a voicemail in case you can't call in when we're here in the studio. But one of those emails right now, I'm going to read it and see what Jill and Jim think about it. It's from Tony in Allen, Texas, who writes, "How do I overcome a fear of heights so I can keep driving long distances for work?" Tony says, "I'm 65 years old. For many years, I've had a fear of heights, and for about the past 20 years, I haven't been able to drive over high bridges without pretty extreme anxiety. The last 2 years, the anxiety has gotten worse and has expanded to lower bridges, drop-offs on the sides of roads, sharp curves on highways, etc. It gets so intense at times, my arms stiffen, and I feel as though I'm going to lose control. The biggest problem is I'm a territory manager and drive throughout Dallas, east to the Louisiana border, north to the Oklahoma border, seeing clients. It's an area approximately 100 by 200 miles, and I drive 20,000 to 30,000 miles a year. I sought out therapy last July by a licensed counselor who does EMDR and have been seeing her twice a month since, with not much progress. Actually, I feel it's getting worse in the last couple of months. My nephew, whose wife is a counselor, suggested I seek out more of a faith-based counseling experience. Since August last year, I have not driven to many parts of my territory. I'm reaching the point of desperation. Please point me in the right direction or possibly make some suggestions. Jill, what would you say to Tony?
Okay, well, I think there's two approaches that need to be taken with a situation like this. First, I'm hearing that the avoidance, right, of driving over the bridges, the fear of the heights is becoming debilitating. Okay, and so that behavior has to be dealt with. So one of the ways is exposure with response prevention. It's a type of cognitive therapy that works in anxiety cases. And a lot of times you have to work with someone to, in a sense, create a hierarchy of desensitization. Like maybe it's just looking at a picture of a bridge first. Maybe it's going and watching other cars go over the bridge. Maybe it's having someone else drive. And then you talk about it each time, the level of anxiety and what the person was feeling. And was there disaster? The thing that they fear, did it happen? So that's one approach that's really important in overcoming behaviors. However, I think usually there's something else that's driving it. So then you also have to look at, okay, what happened around the time that these fears started?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we will deflect onto another issue. instead of dealing with the real cause. This is often true of like eating disorders or addictions, right? And we create a problem that's outside of the original problem or the original catalyst, triggering event, right? And so that's where he said he didn't get much help from EMDR, but maybe he needs to do some work with a therapist to really look inward, look at his past, look at some things that may be manifesting in this fear. When did his fear first start?
Yeah. Jim?
Interesting enough, because first thing I was going to say is go talk to a counselor. Because I think when somebody has fear, and he has done that, and he's actually sounds like he's doing the work, my guess is through those conversations, some of, like what you just said, I am guessing that he probably got some of this stuff. And so he's going to have to keep working on it. And unfortunately, when you have a fear, at least my experience is when you have a fear, it doesn't go away automatically. And it's not going to, sometimes through prayer, people have said that they have, or they have a breakthrough. But other times, it's this process. And somehow he's developed negative thinking mechanisms with this fear going over a bridge. And he's somehow going to have to figure out how do I replace that? And actually sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes by facing your fear and going, okay, I'm staring at that bridge. That bridge is safe. It's never fallen. It's never done this. And actually then creeping up, he's going to experience some of that anxiety. But when he's on the other side, he goes, yay, I did it. And so you get a victory sometimes by facing your phobia or facing your fear. I'm not saying that that's for everybody, but I have found that there are people who, let's say they have a fear of heights, or they have a fear of flying. And some people will say one of the ways to do that is to look at it logically and then step on that airplane and make it happen. There is some medication, but really you want to try to do it, without that. So
well, unless the anxiety is so debilitating, the medication can help you not, because when you start to feel your body reacting to anxiety, that's when panic sets in.
No, exactly. And you get panic on the top of a bridge. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
No, you're right.
But you brought in the spiritual piece, and I think that's really important alongside of all this to add, okay, what is my trust in? Is my trust in my car? Is my trust in the bridge? No, my trust is in my Heavenly Father.
And truly, there are people who he's going over the bridge listening to worship songs. That may help him. Honestly, this sounds, so easy compared to some of the complications. But actually, sometimes people win with that kind of a thing in a beautiful way. I know my wife does. She doesn't have a fear of heights or whatever, but there are just times when she says, what I really need is to just put in my head positive worship music, and I'm facing whatever her problem is going to be. And she goes, you know what? The problem didn't go away, but my attitude changed, and that made all the difference in the world. And it was because of putting good worship into her mind, or scriptures into her mind, reading the Psalms, reading Proverbs, things like that. And I think he knows he's doing part of this work. I think he just has to keep doing it.
Well, yeah, because I think that the work he may be doing when he says it's getting worse, it does often get worse before it gets better, especially if he's getting near, the real hurt that's underneath all of this. Well, then the behaviors are going to manifest even more.
Yeah. I'm glad he named it, because by naming it, that means that he's probably saying that to family and friends, and sometimes a supportive group that goes, I made it. I did the big bridge, and I didn't crash, and I didn't fall off, and whatever. Sometimes having just a support system around you, what I call the circle of support, and so the next time he takes that bridge, let people, even from a Christian point of view, have people praying for him, whatever, and then report back and say, you know what, I did it. I felt crazy. I sweat. I've needed to stop and go get a cup of coffee afterwards, but I made it. And sometimes it's baby steps that help with those phobias.
Great advice. Tony, thank you for sending in your question through newlife.com/radio. If you go to that page, you'll see how you can send us an email or leave us a voicemail in case you can't call in when we're here in the studio. But guess what? We are here in the studio right now. So call in to 1-800-229-3000. We're going to begin with Ray in Rochester, New York, listening on Sirius XM, channel 131. Hi, Ray. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hi. Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, first of all, for Christian psychologists. Okay, that is not easy to find, and I'm very grateful for what you guys do. I am a 57-year-old woman. I've been married for over 36 years. Very much believe in marriage and the commitment of marriage, and that is, the Lord's plan. I have been going through a lot of psychological changes over the past 2 years. I've been in a lot of therapy every single week, twice a week, plus I just went through a residential program where I was residential for over 72 days. I am definitely changing in my thought patterns and in the way I'm expressing myself, and my husband of 36 years is really uncomfortable and not on board with those changes. And I would love some advice, Christian. Okay, not, because I can get advice from my church and I can get advice from my therapist, but I would love some Christian psychological advice. The Lord, made our minds, made us the way we are, on how to help my. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ray, good for you for getting the help that you felt like you needed. 36 years married, you've developed patterns and ways of being together. And so when someone does a radical change, it does upset the apple cart. And initially, most people will protest that. It's like, no, no, no. Even if it's a better change.
That's what I was going to ask. Even if it's positive change?
Yes, yes. We cling to the familiar. And so it sounds like your husband doesn't know how to now be in this relationship with you with all of these changes and this unsettledness inside of him. So what is he saying to you? And can you give us any idea of the type of change, perhaps, that you have made?
So, the type of change is that I am speaking my own thoughts and opinions. I'm not staying quiet, and I'm not just allowing him to be under the, his thoughts and opinions are the only ones that count. So I'm speaking up. I'm speaking my mind. And how he is handling it is he's really uncomfortable. He's had a couple of pretty extreme emotional outbursts. He did, come in and threaten the relationship, saying, if this is how it's going to be, I'm not so sure, what I think about this relationship, which is fine. I know he was just venting. But I do have to be highly cautious of how I am speaking and communicating and moving forward, because I have to treat him with such, fuzzy mittens so that he can.
Right. Yeah. And so, Ray, again, that's a wonderful thing to feel like now you have a voice and you can speak up. And of course, he doesn't know how to handle that. I mean, if you're the only opinion in the room for all these years, it's like, what do you mean? I'm being dethroned. It can feel very, very threatening. And it sounds like that's how he's feeling. I think it's important to have a lot of empathy, and it sounds like you are, and that, give him the validation that you understand that this is really hard for him. You guys have functioned this way for a long time, and almost even apologize for not having a voice sooner. That you relied on him and put him in the position to be the one that had to always have the opinions, when this is really a partnership here. And so now it's kind of even unfair of you to, switch it up on him. And yet it is the healthier way to move forward. And so that, again, you understand that it's hard for him and that you want to hear what it feels like to him to have you actually not always 100% agree with him. What's that like for him? And really try to get him to start to share about his experience versus just you're going to have your opinion and now he's got to get used to it.
So
Does that make sense?
Ray, a really quick question before we go to the break. Ray, what was the turning point for you? When was it? What happened that made you decide that you needed to seek help in this area?
Well, I have PTSD. I was active duty military for a long time, and I was just it just had taken a very grip on my life where I wasn't even like leaving my house. So and then I was kind of having some like what do you call it, paranoia, hallucinations. So I dove into getting help, and it's been good. The help has been good.
All right, stay on the phone, Ray. We want to continue talking to you here. We'll hear what Dr. Jim Burns has to say to you. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us, and we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours if you want to talk about whatever it is you're going through. We are here to help. We've got Dr. Jim Burns and Dr. Jill Hubbard. We'll give you different opinions, same opinion. It'll be good. It's not just going to be one person telling you what to do. It'll be both of them sharing their wisdom with you here today on New Life Live.
The Life Recovery Conference is online Saturday, October 4th. It isn't just for those struggling with addiction. It's for anyone ready to break free from destructive patterns and build a foundation for lasting change. Our expert speakers will equip you with biblical tools to face life's toughest challenges and find real transformation. You'll walk away with practical strategies to overcome anxiety, shame, and relational struggles, plus biblical wisdom for grief, finances, and identity. You'll also gain tools to recognize unhealthy patterns and clear action steps to choose wisdom every day. The Life Recovery Conference is for everyone. Whether you're just beginning your journey, looking for fresh tools, supporting a loved one, or leading others, you'll find hope, direction, and encouragement. Change starts with one step. Register today for the Choosing Wisdom New Life Recovery Conference at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Mary, we're going to talk to you in just a few minutes. You'll be up next here on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. And let's go back to Ray in Rochester. You still with us, Ray?
Yes, I am.
Great. Jim?
Ray, thank you for your service. I'm so sorry that you've been through such a tough time. You know, so many people who have sacrificed so much for us, for our country, end up, with PTSD. And I'm so sorry. It sounds like there's been huge ramifications. 72 days in a inpatient is a big deal. And not only is that a big deal, and I'm proud of you for going through it. And it sounds like on the other side, you're getting healthier. I'm thinking about your husband. And I'm thinking he has been through that 72 days also, and more than that, obviously, because of all that put you through that. So he's also having to relearn how to do the relationship. And in some ways, part of your healing is to reinvent your relationship. And what I mean by that is, we're going fine, not fine probably, because there's ups and downs in marriage, but now you're a different person. And I find that a lot of people, when their spouse goes through inpatient, the spouse is like better. Spouse is doing good. You sound like, you're up, you've got it. But then the other spouse says, wait, we've been doing this way for 30 some years and I don't get it now. And so Jill used a word, she said validation. And I think it's important somewhere in there that you validate some of his feeling, because he's like, who is this person? And I like some of it, and I'm not sure I like some of it. And he's going to have to relearn how to build the relationship. And just like we do in our faith, you were talking about Christian counseling, and just in our faith, sometimes when we become either a Christian or we become a stronger Christian, then there's certain things that have been habits in our life. Jill used the word patterns that we must change. And so he's going to have to go through the same thing. It wasn't his choice probably as much as yours. So give him some validation in terms of, I can understand this is not easy. Understand that communicating with each other now is a learned trait, so that's part of your process of learning. Feel empathy for him. Even though you're doing better, make sure you do feel empathy for him.
Well, Jim, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Also, I'm wondering, everything, Ray, that led up to you getting help, that you mentioned, he lived through that too.
Right.
And that would also be something to ask him about. What was it like for you when you saw me having these symptoms?
Yeah, right. Be frightening.
Right. So he probably felt helpless back then. Right. And now it's like, okay, and now the help he also feels helpless in.
Right. Has he gotten any help, Ray?
No. And no. And I've asked for us to go to marriage counseling, and I got a very harsh answer on that, although I do think that is probably in the future, but it's not something that he was interested in right now.
Okay, here would be a place to start, Ray, because next Tuesday we are doing a webinar that you can watch from your home. It's low commitment, low cost, and it's led by J.J. West, right, who leads our intimacy and marriage, and it's for an hour and a half. And I believe in East Coast time it would be...
It's 7 p.m. Central, so I guess 8 p.m. Eastern.
So 8 p.m. Eastern, right, and it's called Renewing Love. And so it's kind of a talk on just issues between marriages. So again, you can passively watch from your couch, but get some, good input so that maybe in the future marital therapy doesn't seem so scary.
Yeah, you can get on the same page.
Okay.
Just with something like that, what Jill's telling you, Ray, you can get on the same page. Even what I have found that a lot of times if he's not willing to get the therapy, then you want to continue to get some help on that too, and you can get some good ideas with it. But if you can get on the same page, so you were kind of similar, same page early on, and now there's been this big change. So he needs to get his arms around this just as much as you need to get your arms around it. And sometimes that's what you get. I remember for Kathy and I, we read a very famous book by a mentor in my life named Gary Chapman on the 5 love languages. And it honestly transformed us, because all of a sudden we put words to how we could love each other. And it was such a good, and it was a little easy book to read. But that kind of a thing, when you go to a webinar that's so easy, sit on the couch, give him his favorite food, let him sit there, and don't get too frustrated if he gets up in the middle of it, and
you can still watch it and glean something
but
from
those
it.
Kinds of things exactly could be the thing that moves the needle, because what you want to do is move the needle. But the more validation you can give to him to kind of go, oh gosh, I get this, if he would have made a major change, it would be hard for you.
What about also the fact that he's needing to grieve the old relationship? So what does he miss also, Ray, about how things used to be? Even though it wasn't all good, there was some good there that he had gotten used to. So what is he missing now?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think, Ray?
Right. I think I understand what you are saying. I think the webinar next Tuesday sounds really good. I do have you guys on .com so I can
go to our
check that out
app.
pretty easy.
Good.
Yes, and I do want to say thank you for merging Christianity and psychology, because we do need both, especially when you do have deep issues.
Yes.
I need both, and and a lot of times that's hard for people in the Christian community to comprehend.
That is true.
Amen.
You know, stay on the phone. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back from the newlife.com store, and I'll give you more information, even though Jill pretty much told you all of it, but there's a little bit more information about the webinar next week. Stand by.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, September 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're about 7 days and 7 hours away, give or take, from our friend J.J. West's Renewing Love Marriage webinar. If you want or need to renew love, rebuild trust, and strengthen your marriage with faith-based guidance, this is for you. Every couple, whether you're a newlywed or an oldie-wed, faces seasons of difficulty. This webinar speaks to the real pain couples experience while pointing to the real God who heals and restores. Your marriage really is worth this 90-minute investment of your time, and it's less than $20 per person. You'll learn simple biblical ways to restore intimacy, communication, and amor in your marriage. Amor. That's the right way to say it, right? Tuesday, September 16th at 7 p.m. Central. There's that number 7 again. Now, an FAQ we get, frequently asked question, is, I want to watch this webinar, but that date doesn't work for me. Well, register anyway, because you'll have the option to watch the replay for a limited time. You can get the specifics by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Mary in Columbus, Ohio. First-time listener. Hey, Mary, how'd you find out about New Life Live?
I was listening to the radio, and you shared your phone number, and I called.
Awesome. Thank you so much for calling in. How can we help you today?
I'm a grandmother of a 34-year-old daughter that I helped raise, granddaughter that I helped raise, and she became angry with me 2 years ago now, this month basically, and has not spoken to me since. So I'm interested in knowing what your suggestions are in terms of mending the relationship or without. I do not think I can push myself on her, so I don't know what kind of tools are available. I've prayed about it, but I just don't. I'm at my end's wit in terms of trying to reconnect.
Yeah, Dr. Jim.
Mary, help us understand the conflict. What took place for her to move into estrangement with you?
She was my son, who was her dad, passed away when she was 14, and so we became involved in her life when she turned 18 because she had a different guardian than her grandparents, my husband and I. And so she always anticipated that she would get whatever percentage of his inheritance would be. And we never told her she would or she wouldn't. But when we did our living trust, we made the hard decision to just give her a lump sum, not a percentage of what was being left. And we only have one daughter besides our son. So whenever my daughter insisted that we tell her in advance because she didn't want to have to deal with any consequences of that. And so I was reluctant, but I thought she would be happy because we were leaving a lot of money to some of the grandchildren, her children. So that's how the conflict started, because she felt that she had been betrayed. And she has not spoken to us since she hung up on me and said, I feel like you've betrayed me.
Wow.
So I guess you might say the conflict is over money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say it's over value.
Yeah.
Because people equate money once they've lost someone as their value.
Right.
And so if she assumed, even wrongly assumed, that because her dad is gone and you have two children, that everything would be split equally between the two children, that she would stand in her dad's place. I can see how she would make that assumption.
Right.
And yet people get to divide their will up the way they want to.
Yeah.
I never thought of the fact that she equated that with value. Thank you for that information. Kind of gives me a new perspective to think about.
Right. And so the betrayal is that she thought she was important to you. And it doesn't matter the amount of money. Right? Some people, when they're doing their trust, they're like, oh, well, this child is successful. They don't need the money. You still need to divide it up in a fair way, because they will feel devalued. They will feel punished for being successful. And so it's really a last statement of your love for someone. And it shouldn't be, but it is. That's how people take it.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're 100% right, Jill. I also think, Mary, that really, if you want this relationship, and you said, well, it's about money, it I think probably is more about value. So to get, when a child, no matter what the age, even 34, when they move into estrangement, we have to kind of tiptoe back into the relationship. And so it's not the time for us to say, you're wrong, I'm right. The truth is that anybody can do whatever they want with their money. And, and you guys have made that choice. So, there's not a wrong or a right answer on that. It's just what it is. She took it that way. So I think by tiptoeing back, and parents or grandparents always think this is kind of crazy advice, but I oftentimes give it to them. By tiptoeing back, I think we have to validate their feelings. I can understand how you feel, but honestly, what I would do at this stage is I would say, I love you so much, and I'd love to, to have a relationship. I'd love to have coffee with you. This is not the time to do the I'm right, you're wrong. It's the time to just say, you know what, I can understand how you feel. I get this, and I'm so sorry for how you feel. You don't have to say you're right and I'm wrong, but what that does is that puts them in kind of a disequilibrium where they go, my goodness, my grandma's, she can understand my feelings. That may get her to talk with you.
Well, and you may, though, have to say, because we can't just assume that you understand if she hasn't told you. But with what she's told you, and you can also say, and I've gotten some new information that's helped me look at it differently. Right. I can see that there's different ways to view this, and I really want to understand how it felt betraying to you, because I don't think I got that before. And betrayal never feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're naming something that maybe she isn't even thinking. But you see where we're going on this? It's not a simple way to mend. It doesn't mend simply. But the way is actually for you to take I would say, the higher road and say, help me understand. And then you know what? You may not don't get defensive and don't go back at it. Just say thank you for that. I need to reflect upon this. I want to think about it. Now she's going to try to get you to, maybe give her more money. I'm not talking about that. The long run is you having a relationship with her, and you've got to build that trust back in, because whether you did something wrong or not that we're saying that, but if you did something in her mind, you did something wrong, you've got to bring trust back into the relationship by listening. Listening is the language of love.
Right. So you might start by writing her a letter and letting her know that you are so sad that there's been this rupture in your relationship, and that you're really praying about the opportunity to repair things.
Right.
And that, again, like I said, you've gotten new information and you realize there's more than one way to look at it, and you really want to hear her. Would she be willing to meet for coffee?
Right.
And maybe even the first time you just sit there and say, I'm just going to listen because I want to understand, and I'm going to take some notes here on how I've hurt you and how you felt betrayed, so that I can really, sit with this, like you're saying.
And sometimes what you just said was the letter, in the Joshua Coleman and Tina Gilbertson are the two key estrangement people, I think, in the world who write books on this stuff.
Well, they've written the most on it.
But I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like their books. They're not necessarily coming from a Christian faith base, but they're great. And what they both say is that the letter is very powerful, as long as it's not super long, and that we're not putting our loved one down.
We're not explaining our position.
Yeah, we're just saying, no, not doing any of that. No, but it's just that, it's again that letter that kind of sometimes opens it up, and ask for something very small. I'd love to have coffee with you, we can keep it to 45 minutes or whatever, and then honestly keep it at 45 minutes. You got a lot more to talk about, but
then you can meet again.
Exactly.
It's not just a one and done.
Yeah, so
you just want to start the conversation.
How do you feel about what we're saying? Because we're kind of coming at it from an angle you might not have thought about when you heard us, and again, you're a first time caller. You just heard the show. What do you think about that?
I think that it sounds very reasonable, and I think it sounds practical. I believe that I've tried. It's been very difficult.
Sure.
We had been in therapy together at one time when she was going through some of her adjustments and things. And so I did contact that therapist, and we discussed a lot of this. Of course, I was working on my stuff, and she suggested some of the similar things that you did, although I have not contacted her. I said, I feel strongly about the boundary that she said that I had betrayed her, and she cut me out of Facebook, and she does all the things kids do now.
Right.
That's what they do to make a point.
Yeah, we're going to send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children, written by this man right here, Dr. Jim Burns. Thanks for calling in today. 1-800-229-3000.
I became aware that my husband had had an affair. He was viewing porn on the computer. I was totally unaware of anything like sex addiction. Through the workshop, I truly believe my soul has been restored. The workshop educated me about what sex addiction was. It also gave me courage. I learned how to stand up for myself. Without a doubt, it was the most significant thing that I did.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
That workshop is where I found the tools and the people to heal from this most heartbreaking thing of my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol.
I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, Clarissa, you are next here on New Life Live, but a final thought from Jim Burns to Mary.
We were talking, Mary, about you and your situation. And one of the things that I had written down, but I just didn't get to say was, quite possibly, if you're going to understand how she feels, and it's crazy to think this word because your son passed away, her father passed away, but the word is abandonment, that sometimes people feel abandoned even when there's a death. And then maybe she felt abandoned from you in a similar way. So abandonment is
those old feelings.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times with people who've been adopted, they go, well, they feel abandoned. I love my family, but I feel abandoned by my birth mother or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Well, these kinds of things, abandonment is something to maybe talk to your counselor about as well. Is that possible that she was feeling it? Now, you said
lack
that,
of value and the abandonment.
Yeah, value and abandonment. And actually, because you've done some therapy already, maybe that came up. I would imagine a counselor is going to be thinking about value and abandonment anyway. So just kind of want to add that thought. A lot of listeners need to be reminded that there's more feelings of abandonment than we realize out there.
All right, 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today. And when we're done with this hour of the program, we're going to be in the studio for another hour. So there's still plenty of time to call 1-800-229-3000. God's word tells us that God loves a cheerful giver. And I've yet to speak with a financial supporter of New Life Ministries who does so without a smile on their face. How can you not be cheerful when your gift is restoring, rebuilding, and reclaiming lives and families, often when hope seems lost? Make a gift and make a difference. One-time gifts, once-a-month gifts, small, large, somewhere in between. When we pool them together, thousands of people are impacted for God's kingdom. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to make a donation. Text NLM to 28950 or visit newlife.com and click Give. God bless you for whatever you can do. Here is Clarissa listening in New Jersey on Alexa. Welcome, Clarissa, to New Life Live.
Oh, thank you for taking my call. So the thing is, I have a stepson who's 15 now. When he was 13, he started touching me in my sleep. He has since stopped doing that. But through that, I was able to remember that as a young child, I was abused by a family friend, a female. And my question is, I've been praying about it. I haven't talked to anyone about this. This is the first time I've ever said it is with you guys. But I feel like I need to confront that person. It was something that didn't happen here. It happened back in my country where I was born, not here. But I feel like I need to confront her. I feel like I need to write her a letter, let her know that I know it's not my secret to keep. With that said, it's not something that I want to just blurt out and just say it to anybody else. But I need her to know that I know what happened, and hopefully that she hasn't done that to anybody else, or
Wow.
So how do I go about confronting her?
All right, Dr. Jill, what would you say?
Well, okay, Clarissa, before we get into that, your stepson is 13 now?
He's 15 now. He was 13 when he started. He did it 4 times, maybe, and
okay.
I believe he stopped. He's not doing it anymore. He apologized. We spoke about it.
You guys dealt with that.
It's been a while since he stopped. Yeah, he lives with us. That's the thing. He lives with me.
Okay.
And I felt really betrayed by him, and I felt really hurt. And I didn't trust him with my younger kids either. So it was.
Well, yeah, it's important that you explore what was going on for him. I mean, certainly there's a lot of curiosity in that age, but that is really crossing a line.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but moving on to then it brought up feelings which you hadn't remembered before.
I remembered. Yeah, I never remember that throughout my whole. I'm 40 now. Throughout my whole adult life, I never remember that. But through this thing, that came to me. I remember where it happened, how it happened. She would pick me up from my house we would go over to her house. It was like in her house, at her bathroom, and I remember everything.
Wow.
And it's something that I need to like.
Okay, so and was she an adult and you were a child?
No, she was also a child. I was probably like 3, and she's probably like 3 or 4 years older than me. So she was also a child, but she knew that wasn't right. Like, I know she knows that wasn't right.
Okay.
Even though she was a child.
Right. And often children who have also had, overexposure or abuse themselves will then reenact it and play it out with other children.
Yeah. Like, her parents are my godparents, and I feel like her dad was a little bit weird. I don't know that he abused her or anything like that, but I know that he was, like, into stuff that wasn't, like, appropriate to be, like, doing, you know, in front of kids or whatever. Like, I know that there's something there, but I don't know what she might have gone through. I don't want to excuse her, but, like, I feel like maybe something might have happened to her, too.
Well, and I'm wondering, instead of just jumping in and confronting her, I'm wondering, Clarissa, if you need to maybe meet with someone and talk through kind of the impact on you first. You've just remembered this, and work on some of this yourself before you reach out to your friend, and have someone helping you walk through that, as well as what just happened with your stepson. Because, that's a lack of trust that's now in the home, and some parenting issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah. You know, Clarissa, you were abused, and what we always say to anybody who's been abused is get the help you need, don't suffer in silence. And it's so hard, because now this came up, and it's amazing how often when there's a negative experience or a certain age or whatever, that the memories come back. And this is a real unique memory, because this person is also very, very young. But I agree with Jill that I would walk through this with a counselor first. And because, again, there's some suffering that could be going on in your own body, own soul, just because of this abuse that took place.
And there may be more that you remember.
Right. Get your arms around that, and first with the help of somebody else. And then they might even help you figure out how to write that letter or that email or make the call or whatever you need to do. But again, and that's part of your healing process, which could be a good thing. And I'm still thinking about this stepson too. That you may have to, that may be like an onion peel type of thing, just like this one, where you know how in an onion there's all these peelings. So you peel off something and you think you're doing okay, and then you have to peel another peel off. So as time goes on, you may have to deal with that. But I would do that with a counselor.
I think the son needs to be in counseling.
Yeah, because again, we don't know the background. Like you mentioned about the relative who had abused you, a very young person. They possibly were abused, and it's possible that I realize he was 13 to 15, but he may have had that too. Now, I'm not saying that you're doing this to try to just help him. You got to work on your own stuff. But out of that may be that there may have been some of that with him as well. We do see that people who abuse have often been abused. Now, again, we don't know that here, but that's why you want to get the counsel. Counseling can help you.
Not just kind of confronting him and reprimanding him.
And what I always say,
telling him to stop. Right?
Exactly.
There's more to it than that.
And I say, you know what? Talk to someone who absolutely knows the patterns and whatnot, and that's going to be a therapist who deals with this on a very regular basis. We don't have the skill set typically.
Well, we don't have the time here.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying we don't have the skill set, meaning we
in general,
who get if there's somebody who's abused, they don't have the skill set to actually sometimes work through the depth that took place of it. Yeah. So that's why I would go talk with somebody, and you may walk out of that just with an assessment or a few times going, God, this was really helpful for, I have other things in my past because of that. So there you go.
Jill.
Right. And we also don't know, another reason why to be with a therapist is because your friend, we don't know how she's doing, what state of mind she's in. And I would hate for you to immediately confront her and have her be very defensive and have it blow up in a negative way. So.
Well, what resource can we send to Clarissa from the newlife.com store? We'll think about it.
We'll think about it.
Yes, we will. But stay on the phone and we'll send you a resource from the newlife.com store, and we'll put you in touch with a counselor in your area there who can help you with everything that you've been going through. We're going to be in the studio for another hour, so call us up, 1-800-229-3000.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.